Do this
All
first.
right.
I thought he can maybe go back to being more relatable.
Right.
Because that's like the biggest disconnect between Drake and like some of the OG listeners like yourself, myself,
Right.
a lot of people that have been listening back in the day. It's like,
He's not touching the culture like he did. The boy, my bad. Go ahead.
nah, yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The fucking boy is back, man.
Yeah, the boy.
I mean, the
He's
boy
back.
is back. The boy is back, man. We got a new album from Drake, Drizzy Rogers, however you want to address this nigga.
Yeah.
For all the dogs.
Him, the boy. You call him whatever you want to call
Yeah.
him. Some people call him GOAT. I'm not going that far. But you
Nah,
saw
he's a sick nigga.
But you saw Adonis, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's a sick nigga. I'm just telling
That's
you that.
crazy
He's
work.
a sick nigga.
So before we get into how we feel about the music, what was your expectations going into the album?
I'm not gonna lie. This is when I sat down and I broke down everything from start to finish.
Before you got into the album?
Before I got into the
Okay.
album, before
Okay.
all this,
All right.
I'm not gonna lie, I was scared because of the scissor joint that he dropped. I was scared. I was kind of hesitant. My expectations still, I always expect him to overperform. You know what I'm saying?
I feel that.
Every time that the nigga drop, I'm like, okay, this is finna be, it's gonna do the numbers and the music is gonna match up with the numbers. That was my expectation of this.
Okay.
When he dropped the scissor joint as a single, I kind of was like, I don't know.
I feel that.
I don't know. Then he dropped the next song, which was the 8 a.m. or 8 p.m.
8 a.m.
in Charlotte.
Yep.
I really got scared because I'm like, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know about this. And I think by the time I got to the album, I think my expectations,
Kind of lowered, or did it?
yeah, it lowered for sure.
When I was going into the album, because you was like, what you think he gonna do? You know what I'm saying? I was like,
Mhm.
nigga, I don't have expectations in albums. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you know, I try not to have expectations in the album because at some point you're gonna, if you have expectations, you're gonna end up getting disappointed.
Right.
And I did it, you did it with Scorpion, you was disappointed.
Right.
I think I did it with CLB, and I was super disappointed. And people did it with, honestly, Nevermind, and they ended up being disappointed, but the album was so good.
Right.
But some people never made it back to it because they had this expectation when they heard Jimmy Cooks. It's like, where's the rest of this? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm gonna say this, like, Drake is one of the greatest artists of our time for sure. Like, ain't no denying that, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? There's no getting around that. But I had an expectation after thinking about it and talking to you, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I feel like this, for the dogs, he's saying it's going to be a contemporary Drake. So I'm thinking it's either going to give us Take Care vibes or it's going to, or it's going to get the feeling that we had when we got Take Care, because, you know what I'm saying, the first album or the first big classic, a lot of those albums, you're not in that spot you were when you heard it.
Right.
So you can't like replicate that feeling, replicate that moment, replicate that era. But Drake can pretty much do anything if you think about it. Like, he's LeBron James, so he can do anything. So when I was going into, I'm like, he can go back and I thought about it, and I thought he can maybe go back to being more relatable.
Right.
Because that's like the biggest disconnect between Drake and like some of the OG listeners like yourself, myself, a lot of people that have been listening back in the day. It's like rich nigga rap. It's rich nigga swag rap, or shitting on broke niggas, or it's, you know what I'm saying?
He's not touching the culture like he did once at some point.
That's a fact.
And I think when I thought about it from the LeBron analogy, because I use that too. It's like every team that LeBron play on, he has a chance to get a chip.
For sure.
Every single team.
Facts.
I think this was the first album that I say, okay, they get knocked out in the first round. If they make it, type shit. It was, I mean,
that's
we can get into the album, but I think that's what it was for me. It's like, all right, my expectations, and this me being a real deal Drake fan, my expectations always gonna be high. Like, my expectation is with Brian. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I expect him, once they build a whole team around him, I expect him to deliver in some capacity. Last year, he went out there and dropped fucking 36 in the first half or some crazy shit like that, right?
Yeah.
It was something like that, right?
No, that's a fact.
And after that, he didn't do nothing. And it kind of was just like that vibe. It was like, okay, I don't know. Like, the whole album, to me, I don't think that it was a good project.
Okay. Slime you out. You didn't like it or you like it? At this point in time, after you've heard the album and everything, slime you out.
6 out of 10.
Okay.
5.5 out of 10.
I give it a 6.5, 7.
Yeah.
He did try to do so much in one song.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's like 3 songs in one when you think about
It is.
how it's structured and you know what I'm saying, how it switches up. So that could have been a song in the interlude, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's kind of, I'll get into that when we talk about the album. But yeah, I give it a 6.5, 7 pause. But 8 ain't, you know what I'm saying, before we get to the album.